Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be watching a show about the whole pre-construction and process that most homeowners go through with a designer. Let's check it out and I'm going to give you a little feedback or tips if it's real or if it's fake. Let's get started.
Jen and Steve have been married for like 15 minutes.
Newlyweds.
Less than a year. So the issue with the home, it belonged to Steve's grandparents.
Which is so crazy. I
know.
can't even imagine moving into my grandparents' house.
Well, they are trying to imagine what they would do to change their house, filled with things that have importance to Steve's side. Not so much Jen, so I want to find out a little bit more about that.
I wonder if that's fun for her or bizarre.
My mom and her 3 siblings grew up in this house.
What I like so far about the show is that they're talking about the people, the homeowners, the history. And believe it or not, it is very important that the contractor, the designer who's going to be helping the homeowner really understands the why. Why are they doing the remodel? What are their needs? It's so important for us to understand the whys, that the needs, that not just, oh, I want a new kitchen, but why? Why do you need it? Because by us understanding the deep reasons why so you can do it, or, backstories, we're able to kind of come up with something better to kind of line everything up together with what your needs are. So let's keep watching. So far, I like how they're talking about the needs and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. Seems like somebody lost their steam.
It has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But I love the stained glass window actually.
It's such a great space.
Yeah, tell us a
Thank
little
you.
bit about, the history here.
This is his grandfather's house.
Yeah, they built it in 1951. The house was built for him and my grandmother. My mother was raised in this house along with her 3 siblings, and my great-grandmother lived here at one point too, so we're the fourth generation living
This
in
is
this
just
house
filled
right now.
with history.
Yeah,
How long have you been living here?
2 years, yeah.
When I met him, I was like, wow, that's really amazing to have all this history in this little house. But I feel like the house does not reflect my style or my personality. We're fun, I think. Fun.
I'm glad she said that right now. Well, first and foremost, you hear that the history there, it's generations. So this house is not just another house. This is the house. And we need to make sure as a professional that we basically help these people, because there's gonna be a lot of emotional connection to this house that these people are gonna have. That's number one. Number two, I like what she just said, that the house does not represent them. And most of the time, I've seen most homeowners that they live in a house that don't really represent them, who they are. That's why it's important to basically have your house to match who you are. And a lot of times what happens is that homeowners don't know where to start, don't know what to do. And this is a perfect show on how the process should go. The first step is basically really understanding the homeowner, the history, and then understanding the whys. So let's keep watching. So far, it's great how it should plan out.
Exciting people, and I feel like the house just doesn't scream that when you walk in. It's not our personality.
In this space that we're standing in, what's working for you, and I guess more importantly, what's not?
So this is where we greet all of our guests.
Like a fancy meeting room.
Exactly. That's a great word for it. Fancy meeting room.
right.
That's exactly what this is. Very underutilized.
Because one of the things that we'd like to do kind of throughout this process as we walk through is kind of get to know you through your things, obviously.
Tell us, in this space, what are the things that matter to you guys? What has to stay?
This right here actually is my wedding bouquet.
This is gorgeous.
Pretty.
So that is definitely a yes. This is something I do want to see every day because I want to be able to remember that day and all of the memories that came along with it.
So I'll tag this. This
Thank you.
is something we're keeping, we're not
Yeah.
touching.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else?
This is a stump made from our 100-year-old oak tree that used to be in the backyard. We have a family friend who took it, didn't tell us what they were doing, and she's very crafty. It's got our initials.
That's so
That's the
cute.
date they put on
That's
there.
staying.
Tag.
Perfect.
Let's go check out your dining room.
When people come over, this is where we'll eat.
But it feels a little compartmentalized, a little
Yes.
tight.
If you're sitting here.
We're not all very large people.
Exactly.
And we feel it feels tight
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
I mean, technically I'm ever.
This is also another example of what happens with houses. A lot of times houses, in addition to being outdated, they're non-functional. And this is why a lot of times you want to go in there and you want to open up walls and you want to reconfigure the layout to match your new standards, your new way of living, open space. Because back then, this is a very older house. So back then, the design, the style was different. Now it's more open and stuff like that. And this is why it's important to kind of go in there and just kind of reconfigure that space to meet your needs and your style. Keep watching.
This is our lovely kitchen.
Got it. Okay, this has been updated fairly recently.
This is within the last 10, 12 years, I
Yes.
want to
Okay.
say.
Even though that kitchen was renovated 10 years ago, the style in 10 years has completely changed. That area right now, number one, is a small area and everything is so dark. And before, actually remember 10 years ago, that dark wood was in style, the black countertop was in style, but nowadays, not anymore.
You guys didn't pick any of this out, right?
No. I think your mom actually picked this out.
Well, in that case, she did a beautiful job.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
10 years ago.
There's
Not
nothing
gonna
to
make
change.
mom mad.
Not our style. I would love it to be open,
Okay.
and then I love the skylight.
I do
Yeah,
too.
that was what I was
That's
gonna say.
awesome.
Yep.
This is such a cool jumping off point too.
Yeah.
So the amount of natural light in this house is actually really amazing, particularly under this massive skylight. So I want to figure out a way where we could create something really special to make that area feel really unique. So this
Now, to make areas really unique, like he's saying, I'm gonna give you guys 3 tips that you guys should do in your remodeling. Number 1, you wanna basically create open space. So if you have walls, something, you definitely wanna open up the walls. That's for sure, because it's gonna just feel a lot bigger. Number 2, you wanna stick with light colors, white, light gray, woods, because those colors, they intend to stay longer in a trend that, like as a dark kitchen like this, that kind of went out of style. And tip number 3, natural lighting is so important. So if you have like a big window, you wanna definitely open up the window to kind of get the natural light. In this case, they actually have a skylight, which is great for the lighting. So those 3 things will make any place look amazing.
is where you hang out.
Yes, this is the hangout room.
All right. So we're both in agreement that some of these walls have to come down. We just have to figure out which ones are the smartest ones.
Well, this sofa, this is like one of those things that it looks just as
This-
comfortable in
yes.
it.
Yes, please make yourselves at home.
It's
Have a
great.
seat.
This is like sitting on a marshmallow.
Another thing that is not working in this house, other than those walls, is the furniture. You have to select the furniture that meets the space. Not only is comfortable, but it basically makes the space right. That sofa is way too big for the space.
I just like the neutrals.
I like the tones a lot. I think
I
it's
like
really
the
pretty.
wood tones.
Okay. With this moment in life, this huge, important moment, what budget are we going to be working with?
We're gonna be working with $125,000.
Okay. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm glad they talked about budget. Nowadays, imagine this. Somebody goes, you call somebody for help, and then you're basically reserved and you don't want to tell them how much money you want to spend, right? But budgeted is so important to be honest with what is your budget, because maybe your budget, maybe it's too much, but maybe it's too little, or maybe it's not realistic of what you want to do. Because what happens in construction in a project like this, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of options. Let me give you an example. Let's assume you want to do just countertops. You could get countertops for as low as a slab, $800, all the way to $10,000, $15,000. So by understanding the budget, we're able to help you allocate the money properly to what your needs are for the design. So it is very important to be honest with your budget, so like that you could get the right help for your project. Great question. I'm glad they answered it.
There's real merit to taking down the walls in the back half of this house.
I think the most obvious thing is that we need to replace that window with something a little bit more substantial.
Let in some light.
I would love to see a stone floor go into this entry, and we can talk about it a little bit more. But I think it could be a really interesting moment.
Like we had in our house.
Exactly.
I love the idea of stone there.
All right, so essentially we're gonna make this formal living room. They're like entertaining room.
Now, when it comes to the design part of it, the first thing you must do on the design part of it is to figure out the new layout. Once you have the new layout where everything's gonna go, the kitchen, the walls, what door's gonna open, how it's gonna flow, then you could start creating the elevation plans, which is basically what you're watching now, which is the view plans of each section of the house. Then you could start choosing the finished materials, the colors, the textures, and so forth. So that is the process to creating a design. And then obviously comes construction.
That creates the space you want to be in.
Right.
It'll feel layered, it'll feel assembled, it'll feel warm. Right now it's just a pass through, they never even go in there.
Right. That fireplace, if we replace it with something.
Do you think that we should just source a vintage mantle like we have in our house?
I like that idea. The big thing that we have to figure out is their kitchen.
We need to peel back all these old layers and start from scratch.
Now here that they're starting the construction, here's where the surprises come. And now I don't know what's gonna happen here, but pretty much what happens most of the time in these older houses is once you start demoing, opening up walls, things start to come up which are gonna cost a little bit more. So that's when you're doing your budget, you wanna have an extra reserve for the unforeseen.
This kitchen feels fantastic. And that dining room now, the whole idea being this just kind of well of light.
Do you still like this color on the walls?
Never been more obsessed.
Do you think it's too bold for them?
I like both.
Do you still like this
Love.
linen?
Love, love, love. Look at it with the floor. I mean, look how pretty this looks. Gorgeous. It feels really...
I mean, obviously, these guys know what they're doing when it comes to the design. I think they're doing a great job choosing the materials, putting everything together that matches the client's style. Now, this style is not gonna be for everybody, but this is definitely a style that I think the homeowners are gonna fall in love with because it's gonna represent who they are, and it's gonna be a wow moment when they see this. I can already see it. It's gonna look amazing.
I'm sure it's gonna be beautiful.
Here comes the moment, the reveal.
Hey, this is the beginning. Oh my goodness.
God.
There's gonna be some tears. I feel it.
This is
Oh
not the
my
same
God.
place.
Look at this cabinet.
You see the picture as soon as you walk in?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
God.
The
oh,
dark
yeah.
wood paneling. Look at how bright it
see.
is.
You can see right out the window now.
I love the color.
The color of the floors. I
These
love the
floors are
in there.
stunning. They're literally perfect. I love it. Reminds me of Italy. Oh,
It's amazing.
this is not the same
No, it's
house
not.
at all.
Wow.
I love
can't believe this.
Oh
No
my
way.
God. Stop it.
This is not the same place.
This is gigantic.
Oh my God, I know.
Look at this island.
I can't believe this. This is exactly what I wanted as far as an island goes.
Look at this
This is
stove.
fancy.
So yeah, clearly you guys could see what a great design and layout and flow will do to any house. A lot of times you're stuck in a house that it feels small, but once you put in the love and the touch and you go through the process and really understanding what is it that the house needs with a new layout, with creating new space, opening up walls, putting in the right furniture, putting in the right colors, it makes such a huge difference. So I encourage anybody that is living in a house that is not your style, you should do something about it. And if you know where to start, you could go ahead and follow us at homeremodelmiami.com and we'll be more than happy to help you. Can't stop, won't stop, let's go.